Lifehouse, All In, holding steady at number 5 on the Power 20 Countdown. We're joined in the studio by H.B. Sanders, who is a father how many times now?
Let me count the ways. 8.
When they have to stop and pause and count, you know, it's... I know.
I feel like I'm on Sesame Street. Yep. 1, 2, 3 children, 5 are missing. Where are they?
Do you ever get names mixed up?
Yes. I can at least distinguish between the males and the females. I keep all the girls. Like I'll call, I'll run down that. But yeah, and sometimes I'm like the 2 older boys, they have the exact same birthday, a year apart. It's Xavier and Isaiah. So very often I'm saying, Xavier, Xavier. I'm like, you know which one I mean. So that happens a lot. The Micah, I'm gonna talk about her a lot Wednesday, and it's not just because of material, but that's the funny thing about being a comedian. It's like I knew God really wanted me to do it because He keeps giving me material. Like it keeps happening. She's the second from youngest girl, and so we named her Micah. And we didn't know the sexes. We wanted to wait until they were born to find out, what's the sex going to be. And we gave her, traditionally Micah is a male's name. Prophet in the Bible is Micah. But it can be a female's name, especially if that's what your wife wants it to be. She had final vote. So I didn't know that she would end up having a deep voice, though. Like a male's voice when she first started talking. 2 years old. Good morning, Daddy. I'm like, what grown man calling me daddy in my house? And this would go on. We went to see The Dark Knight. She was like, want some air, Joker? I was like, is that Batman in the car? It's just me, Daddy. I like that movie. I let her answer the phone for bill collectors. He's not here right now. Would you like to buy some cookies for your children? I'm a child. So and Halen, that's the youngest. She kids say obvious things too. Like she'll say stuff like, "Daddy, you can't find me behind the couch." Of course I'll have to walk past her on the couch like, where is Halen? I don't know. But this has to be like one of the cutest and funniest things. They always like the kids. I would hear the stories about kids making things for their parents to eat. Like I'll make you breakfast. I'll make you lunch. Like they really go all out. They'll mix the ingredients. And they used to do it when they didn't know you had to cook them. They say, this goes in a. She asked us, what goes in a cake, Daddy? We're like, it's eggs and milk and butter. So they would just put all that in a bowl and then bring it to you.
I made you a cake.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, just needs a little heat. But the other day she brought me 2 pieces of bread and I could see the lettuce sticking out. So I took, and she had a cover over it, the silver tray. So I felt regal, like Richie Rich or something. So I take the cover off and I open it up, and I see lettuce, tomato sliced really well. I'm like, man, great job. And I see a bunch of white stuff, and I'm like, mayonnaise. And I'm like, is something missing? So then I touch it. It's not mayonnaise. It's ice cream. And she's like, Daddy, do you get it? I was like, what? She's like, I made you an ice cream sandwich. Oh man!
You're training him to be comedians.
And I'm not even trying. I'm telling you, it's naturally gifted. I was impressed with that one. I was like, an ice cream sandwich.
I've never heard anyone do that before. That's good.
It's like,
very original.
I'm gonna make money off of you. Whoa, man! But yeah, I'm so glad to be out here in Toledo and driving, and the freeways are so nicely done now.
Really?
Now you're talking about Ohio, not Michigan, right?
Yeah, you can always tell. You don't have to see the welcome to sign. Your freeways are nice. If we could get the cars off of them, it would be, easier to ride on them.
Yeah, right when you get into Michigan.
I was in a pothole once for 5 minutes. I was like, oh, and because they stopped picking up bulk too in a lot of areas. Like regularly, they used to have bulk like every month. They would pick up if you had bulk refuse, garbage and stuff. So they would pick it up monthly, but then they changed it to like quarterly. So people have a lot. They're like, what am I gonna do with this mattress or this refrigerator? I was like, we can put them in the potholes. 2 points recycling, maybe. So yeah, I'm always coming up with solutions.
I always try not to drive in Michigan.
You try not to drive?
Well, I try not to go there at all.
So like when you get to the border, you're like, put me in the passenger
I'm like, I gotta turn around. And then I go the wrong direction on the expressway, and
that was you?
Yeah. Every time.
Every time.
No, that's a lie.
I had a real bad road experience. I was on the road. We were driving from Detroit down to Atlanta with another comedian. was a few years ago. We were doing a run where you'll do 5 or 6 shows a night. Well, a week. You'll have a show every night. And so he was driving, and it's pretty much like a 13, 14-hour drive. So he said, I'll take it first. And I said, okay, just drive a few hours and we can switch off. That way nobody will get really tired. He said, no, I got it. It's a new car. So he drove about 7 hours and got exhausted, right? So he's like, okay. He's like, yeah, I'm starting to get sleepy, man. You better drive. He's nodding. So then we pull over. We switch. He's in the passenger seat. The only problem is he goes to sleep, but he keeps waking up because he thinks he's still in the driver's seat.
Oh, no.
So my whole ride is just like, ah! oh, you driving. Okay. I'm like, would you cut it out?
Oh, man. We have H.B. Sanders in the studio. He is going to be at Toledo Funny Bone this Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. Doors opening at 6 o'clock. If you need more information, visit our website, yeshome.com.
Yes Home. I like that website. I like the name, too, Yes FM.
Yes.
I think whoever came up with this radio station, they visited a black church.
Why is that?
Because you go to a black church, it's like, yes! Yes, Lord.
It's true. White churches are generally much quieter.
Quieter.
Mm-hmm. Like if somebody says amen, it's like, who's that guy talking? I mean,
like, oh, get him in row 6.
It's really funny when a Pentecostal goes to a more traditional church and they start raising their hands and screaming amen and all that. It's like,
everyone's like, doesn't this
weird
guy know
looks.
where he is?
but, did you grow up in the church? Or
Yeah. I started going to church when I was probably around 6 years old. Yeah. And I was going, some cousins of mine were going, and I started going. Then they stopped going. And I had that decision at a young age. I remember having a talk with God. He's like, so what you going to do? Were you going for them or for me? And I was like, okay, guess I was going for you. And so, because that was my cousin, that was about, they really weren't my cousins, but we were like family, and it was about 15 of them. So that was a lot of the youth. That was pretty much the youth ministry at the church, and they moved away. So I kept going, and I made a big impact in my life. I got to be more interactive. I got to be part of the ministry, and I would actually get to read some of the scriptures on Sundays, or lead some of the prayers and devotions. I was like, man, this is nice. My dad would even cut his ties so they would fit me.
Aww. That's cute.
I almost had you. She's like,
We'll talk more with H.B. Sanders coming up in just a little bit. Again, you can catch him performing this Wednesday night, 7 o'clock at Toledo Funny Bone at Levis Commons in Perrysburg. Yes, FM.
When we talk about